And we are back. Pokemon Platinum, Hardcore Nuzlocke. We're only using water type Pokemon for this run. We've made it to the Elite Four. Now let's go ahead and see our final team and everyone else we left on the table here. As far as casualties go, we've only lost 3 Pokemon in this attempt, and it is our 10th and probably final attempt, whether we win or lose here. As far as everyone remaining in the box, we had some pretty decent options. The benefit of the water typing is that there's just so many encounters you can typically get. Now, as you can see in Platinum, there's not a ton compared to like Emerald or even Fire Red Leaf Green, but there's still quite a few options here. A lot of these, unfortunately, don't have a ton of really strong move sets later in the game. So maybe you'll see that in Gen 5, Gen 6, where the moves can be much stronger or much more useful in nature, but Octillery could have had a pretty decent moveset with like Psybeam, Ice Beam, Surf, something like that, but it's also very slow. So there's a bunch of pros and cons. Azumarill has that huge power, which could come really handy in the Elite Four, but as you can see with our final 6, I think we chose correctly. As far as the particular casualties, we lost the Psyduck right there to Gardenia, a sacrifice worthy of excellence, and then our poor Slug here went down in our fight against Barry. I thought we could outspeed the Torterra, and then he slapped us in the face with a 4 times Razor Leaf, and that is just not what you want to see. And then an absolute blunder just recently in the 8th gym, right before Volkner, Magneton outsped and used Tri-Attack, and it crit and killed Clogsire from about half HP. I was not expecting that, and I was really excited to beat Volkner that I didn't even really respect that final trainer in front of him, and it just these constant mistakes, they always show up in the runs, but it's part of the Nuzlocke. It's something that you come to know and love at the end of the day, where you can prepare, and then you still get surprised. So it's just like Christmas all year round. With all of that being said, let's go ahead and look at these final 6 before we dive right into the Elite Four and hopefully just wrap the ribbon on this run. We've got the Tentacruel, we've got the Whiscash, the Empoleon has made it from the beginning until the very end, the signature Pelipper here, the Gyarados, of course, and how about the Bibarel? This is the Bibarel run, as she completely soloed Gardenia with that pluck. It was something to behold, and now we've got a nice little yawn setup cheese with that. Gyarados is going to be the moneymaker. Pelipper, a nice little pivot and brick wall on the physical side of things. I really enjoy the Penguins move set here. That Flash Cannon could come in use, as well as that Priority Aqua Jet. It's always nice to have a quick attack or something that might be able to get in there and snipe. Maybe a little bit of a rest cheese somewhere in there with the Whiscash. And then the Never Melt Ice on the Tentacruel for those boosted Ice Beams. Now, Tentacruel does have the Adamant nature, so it ups its physical attack and minuses special, which isn't what we want to see in this regard, but it does buff that physical damage from the Poison Jab. So could be useful. We'll have to wait and see. With all of that precap out of the way, let's dive right in and see if we can take on Aaron, the first member of the Elite Four here. And, yep, there he is. He's just chilling. Let's do it. Let's hit a quick save here just in case we lose power, something crazy happens. But here we go. Gen 4 into the Elite Four. And as you saw, maybe with the levels there, I have got myself some rare candies. And we're going to try a little strat here of just maxing our level to the highest Pokemon in each section of the Elite Four rather than just maxing it to the final member. So these battles are going to be a lot closer in nature, hopefully, just so it can be a little bit more exciting. That being said, the Yanmega comes down looking very formidable, but I think we might outspeed given the Tentacruel speed stat, and we're going to drop back with the Ice Beam. It is not stab, but it is super effective. The Never Melt Ice isn't quite enough to finish the Yanmega, and now it's going to get evasion and speed off of that. Maybe that was a low roll. Here's the full restore. We break through the evasion, and it's not enough. The Yanmega holds with 1 HP. Once again, the Air Slash comes down, no crit, thankfully, and we get a fadeaway on the Ice Beam. That's just really nerve-wracking, because if Yanmega gets enough double teams in, we could be in trouble. But thankfully, Tentacruel coming through here. And now I am a little bit nervous of a crit Stone Edge. That will probably kill us from that range. A crit Night Slash. This Heracross is actually really scary with that massive attack stat, but I think 2 Surfs will do the trick and we should outspeed. So as long as we can live whatever move Heracross does here, here's the Stone Edge, and we did not do a lot of damage there. On top of that, the Stone Edge is going to be a crit, and we lose the Tentacruel. Valor goes down to a crit Stone Edge. What we feared the most is exactly what happened. Oh my gosh. So I really don't have a super effective option. Let's see here. I think because it'll close combat onto the Beaver if we try to get a Yanshi's. Oh, that is immaculate. I can't believe it crit Stone Edge. I'm thinking of checking Gyarados out there for the Intimidate, just to help the team, and then potentially pivoting into our Empoleon to eat the Stone Edge, because it won't use close combat. Here we go. I got a good game plan here. It's going to use Stone Edge, and it misses. That's beautiful. And now it's going to go into a close combat, which is going to drop its defenses, and that's really going to open the door right here, right now. And that means Gyarados can absolutely snipe from that range. So here we go. No crit, beautiful stuff. And now the defense is dropped on top of the physical attack, meaning this waterfall should absolutely kill from that range. I do believe. I'm still a tad bit nervous, but we're going to go for it. We're absolutely going to go for it, and it does work out. So we lose the Tentacruel. That's really rough. But as long as we have the Gyarados intact, I think we can make this run work. So we're not going to get hung up on that too much here as the Vespiquen comes down. And it does have a nice Power Gem lined up. I don't think we can snipe with one Ice Fang. I'd like to get a Dragon Dance down. Gyarados' special defense is really strong. So I'm actually going to go for it. I'm going to go for the Ice Fang. Can we get a nice 2-shot there? We do. The Defend Order comes down, and that does raise its defense. So I don't think we can kill. I'm still going to go for this, potentially for a high roll or a crit. We don't get it. The heal order comes down, and that is a nice heal. That is an absolute nice heal here. And I think that just means it's time to swap. And let's go into Sinnoh, our Penguin here. The heal order comes down. Okay. So I think 2 Ice Beams will do the trick. It is going to be super effective. That Defend Order really ramping up, though. This Vespiquen is here to stay, and I think that just means 2 more Ice Beams now with all of those defense buffs. But the heal, okay. So you know, you know what I'm going to do now is this is getting incredibly cheesy here. How bad is that? Ooh, that is some good damage. So now we do fall into the crit range here, but I'm going to risk it all. If we lose the Beaver to a crit here, we potentially lose the run. Sandgem, can you hold? Can you be the one? Can you be the one? Absolutely. A little Wiki Berry for reprieve, and good God, that attack order adding up. So we're going to pivot back into the Gyarados, and we are going to ramp up as fast as we can. Thankfully, that is not very effective damage because of the bug typing. Can we get at least 2 Dragon Dances down to get that attack stat where we need it? And it wakes up for another Defend Order. Good God, and it does have that Power Gem that it's going to probably lean into. And this Vespiquen is getting out of hand. We're going to go for the super effective Ice Fang. Maybe we get a freeze as well. But I think it's +5 special defense, +5 physical defense. But thankfully, the Sea Leviathan breaks through. And maybe this level discrepancy is exactly what you would want to see for some really close fights as the ace comes down. Drapion is here. We can't one-shot because of the beef of the defense here, but I think we'll be okay. We do have Dragon Dance on lock, so maybe this is enough with that buff and attack to take out the Drapion, and it absolutely is. The Scizor comes down. Aaron's final Pokemon here, and barring a Night/crit, I think we'll be okay. So let's see here. Waterfall. I think we have neutral damage. I cannot remember if, yeah, Steel does not resist water. We are good to go. Let's see if we can get a one-shot Waterfall, and it is enough, and the Scizor falls. An absolute crazy battle out of the gate. Aaron with his bug types is able to deprive us of the Tentacruel moving forward. We just really got to make sure we play a clean match and watch those criticals moving forward. But I think with these 5, we'll still have what it takes to meet Cynthia where she is. So let's move on to Bertha, that second Elite Four member. All right, so we're going to go for that second member here in the wake of losing our Tentacruel right out of the gate. You don't want to see that. However, this matchup, I think, is a lot more favorable for us as we have so many super effective options onto the enemy here. So I think we have a pretty good chance against Bertha. We've got the level 55s on lock to match her Rhyperior, her ace here. So let's go ahead and execute this game plan. We have a very clean setup with the Yanchees against the Whiscash, since Whiscash can't really do much against our Gyarados. So let's see if we can just go straight in. Sand Gem drops backs with the Yawn. The Sandstorm comes down from the Whiscash. Now we are buffeted, but that should not be too much of an issue, and we are going to get right in there with the Gyarados. The Intimidate comes down. The Earth Power is completely dodged by the flying typing here, and the plan is going wonderfully. So there is one Dragon Dance, and honestly, we might just see this through to 6 Dragon Dances. We do have the Shell Bell on our Gyarados as well to heal up after this Sandstorm is going to chip away on us. We have 3 Dragon Dances in. Whiscash is still sleeping on the job. Make it 4. Let's do this. Come on, let's make it 5. Let's not even risk this so we don't have to roll the accuracy or anything with the potential Ice Fang, since Waterfall and Earthquake are both 100% accuracy. The Zen Headbutt comes down. No critical, beautiful stuff. The Sandstorm continues to chip away, but we are +6 now, and this Waterfall should absolutely decimate the Whiscash, and it does just that. The Shell Bell with some really nice healing on top of that. The Sandstorm is still raging, though. We got to watch out for that because this is Gen 4. Sturdy is not in full effect, but regardless, this Golem has Rock Head, so its recoil damage moves are not going to be much of an issue for it, but it doesn't matter. I think this is 4 times super effective. We should be just fine. Gyarados is going to be faster and stronger than all of her Pokemon, so we are good here. Let's just rinse, repeat. The Sandstorm is still cooking. Rhyperior comes down with an immaculate physical defense stat, but again, a +6 Gyarados is really just in a league of its own here, and I do believe we just drop back with another Waterfall, and this should just be good night, Sally, and that is exactly what it is. Rhyperior falls, and Bertha sends out Gliscor now, looking really good with that flying ground typing, or ground flying, I should say, which Ice Fang's 4 times super effective, but we don't even need it. Let's go for that 100% accuracy with the Waterfall, and Gliscor goes down. The Shell Bell almost bringing us back to 100% HP. The Hippowdon is here to finish the job, but can it do anything? And I dare say it cannot, as the Waterfall comes down and it drowns the glorious Hippo. Gyarados gets out unscathed. The team is safe, and now we're on to Flint, the 3rd member of the Elite Four. So now it is time for Flint and his Fire-type Pokemon. We've got our guys leveled up to 57 here to match his ace, the Magmortar. And for this, we really just need to watch out for potential burns or poisons. We're going to go for that Gyarados sweep once again, but this could get a little bit out of hand if this Houndoom is really feeling itself. On top of that, I just see that here that Houndoom has Early Bird, so our setup with the Yawn isn't actually going to do what we want it to, which is super interesting. So maybe we try to finish off Houndoom with Bibarel, and then we try to set up on the next Pokemon. I think that actually might be the play. However, if it sends out, that does mean Bibarel's really going to have to survive something. So that is definitely something to consider as we dive into this battle here. I'm kind of nervous. If you remember, Cyrus's Houndoom really had its way with our team, so a little bit of hindsight there. Yeah, if it's just going to wake up on the next turn, then that plan is kind of a moot point. So I think we just go in with the Surf. We are faster. It's not enough to kill, and thankfully it doesn't go for the Sunny Day. It does go for the Dark Pulse, which does do quite a bit of damage. We do finish off the Houndog, but that is only 112 HP, and you're telling me we're going to have to eat a stab super effective Mach Punch from that range, and this Infernape just got real scary real quick. I'm pretty confident it's going to go for the Mach Punch. I'm pretty confident. We don't have a ghost type that we can pivot to. I don't think it would go for the Thunder Punch. If it does, it is an absolute legend for predicting our Gyarados, and I'm just going to have to give it to him. But I think we go for the Intimidate. I absolutely think we go for the Intimidate, and it goes for the Thunder Punch. It absolutely predicts. That's right, because the Beaver isn't just normal typing, it's also water, and I am a pro Nuzlocke. That was an immaculate mistake on my part. I completely forgot about the Beaver is obviously water. So it's probably going to go for another Thunder Punch. Now we do have the Intimidate down, which is really clutch. So now the damage is not going to be as fruitful as Flint would have wanted it to be. And I'm thinking maybe we go for one more pivot, but then Gyarados is probably going to have to tank that as well. So I think we just go for the Earthquake or Surf. Let me check my stats here. We are much better in the special attack side of things, so let's go for a Stab Surf. We're going to have to tank this. Hopefully no crit. Hopefully the Intimidate can keep us healthy, and it absolutely does. It absolutely does need for an Ape is gone. So Whiscash coming in clutch here. We're going to have to wiggle around this as best we can. Rapidash comes down, and it does have a Solar Beam here that it might want to go for, or it has bounce as well. So it'll probably try to set up Sunny Day first and then go for the super effective Solar Beam, which is really nice. Let's see here. I think we have to stay in. Let's go ahead and stay in. But because it's going to get the Sunny Day, I think Earthquake is actually going to do more damage since Sunny Day is going to cut Surf in half. So assuming we go second, there is the Solar Beam. It doesn't even set up the Sunny Day. It goes for the charge up turn. Now, how does that work? If it heals, does it still shoot the Solar Beam? Or does it cancel it? I don't even recall that situation and how that all plays out. Let's see. I mean, if it does a neutral Solar Beam, that's because it's going to go from a 4 times to a neutral. I think the pivot into the Penguin is actually the play here. Let's do that. Let's see what happens here. Does Flint heal? Oh, no, Flint does not heal. It just goes straight for the Solar Beam. Okay, so now Flint will probably heal, and we can just go for Surf. Absolutely. There's the full restore, and the Surf comes down. The King or Emperor Penguin drops back and takes down the Fire Horse. Absolutely. The Mag Mortar is here, working with a Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, Solar Beam, and Hyper Beam combination. And given that, it's probably going to go for the Thunderbolt, I would presume so. So maybe what we can do here is kind of the same thing we just did with the Rapidash. We pivot, assuming the Thunderbolt, and then we doesn't affect pivot there into the ground typing, and then it'll probably charge up a Solar Beam, and then we can just swap back in and finish the job. I think that's the play. So let's get the Whiscash back out there. There is the Thunderbolt. Beautiful stuff. Exactly how we thought. And now it's probably going to charge up the Solar Beam. And we can go for the Stab Super Effective Surf while it charges up. Absolutely. And because of that charge up turn, we have a second here to pivot back into our Penguin, who can tank that really nicely with the Steel typing. Or we could go get Gyarados, but then I'm a little bit nervous. But either way, we should be able to finish from that range. So we are fine. Let's go back into the Penguin. Get Sinnoh out there, and it's going to tank the Solar Beam. That does pretty decent damage. Now, who is faster? Magmortar or the Penguin? Because if Magmortar is faster, we're in trouble. So given that, I'm actually going to do one more swap here, calling out the Thunderbolt, just in case. I'm not 100% sure on the speed ties there. And now we can just fade with a Surf from this range. I'm pretty sure because the Solar Beam takes a turn to charge up. This is crazy stuff. This is absolutely crazy stuff. But the Flareon comes down, and we're working with Overheat, Giga Impact, Will-O-Wisp, and Quick Attack. So I think we are just fine. To go for this. I don't even... Maybe a Giga Impact crit could kill us, but other than that, but the Quick Claw comes down. Whiscash brings the Ocean on top of the Flareon, and it dodges the Will-O-Wisp, the derpy fish from downtown, and it's going to go for one more, but this Giga Impact comes down, and it cannot crit, or we lose the Water Ground. Derpy fish, as the health bar continues to come down, the Surf is here, and Flint is defeated at last. All 5 Pokemon still intact. That was incredibly close. As you can see, the health bars are really bleeding out. Pelipper is still flexing a full HP bar, but now we just have the final Elite Four member with the Psychic types and Cynthia. Let's get a bottle of water and just calm this down and keep moving forward. But as far as this video goes, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it, and I will catch you on the flip. Peace.